Yo, what's up, everyone? Yo, Sup here, back on the episode of Sidelines, and today I'm doing my Major 2 Week 4 recap. There were some big matchups this weekend with some huge upsets. It kind of changed up the standings quite a bit, so let's get into this recap and see how the standings are shaping up for this insane Major 2. Alrighty, hopping into our first matchup of the weekend, we have Vancouver Surge versus the Cloud9 New York. This was kind of a blow-it-up bowl, even though Cloud9 is now making a change going into this Major because they're just trying to save money at this point is what it seems like. But Vancouver on the other side, definitely doing some damage here, trying to save, themselves for the standings and stuff like that, and hopefully making Major 2. Had a very good weekend for them this weekend, starting out beating Cloud9 3-1. They were able to take the overall series here, and your MVP was Tej, dropped the 1.31 with 10k damage, 92 kills. Lunar's also doing his thing. On the other side, Nezra really the only one going positive. Encourage doing his thing, but Hyde and Ocus both struggling severely in this series. Our map one was a Scar hardpoint, 250 to 203 in favor of Vancouver. In this series, or in this map, Gwyn and Lunars were doing their thing. Gwyn with 31 and 26 had a very good map on this Scar. Nezra on the other side, 1.33, and Encourage also going positive. Pretty close match here. Was super back and forth the whole time. The only hill that Vancouver was really close with was really a distance was on the P1, which was a 31 point lead for them. Other than that, the first rotation was about 20 points. But it was basically back and forth the whole time, about 30 points on this P3 of the second rotation. It wasn't until P4 that it was tied up, basically, but then Vancouver had a good P5, P1 to close out the map. So a good map for Vancouver. Starting out the second match was a Dead Search and Destroy. This was basically all Vancouver. You have Lunars with a 4.0, Gwyn with a 3.0, Tej with a 1.33. Only person on the other side to go even was Ocus. Vancouver just won the first two maps. Very good round from Gwyn in the first one. He won a 1v1 against Nezra in the smoke. Weird play from Nezra to go dive and get sniped round two. He kind of just dove over, the small room area, not dojo side of the B-bomb, and kind of got sniped, which is a weird one. C9 ended up winning round three, but Vancouver able to take round four, go up 3-1. Round five was just an easy 4 dead for Vancouver and able to win that one. In round six, there was a C9 pick up the rewrap back to B, but they just throw their lives away, and there was a 1v1 by Tej. They basically perfectly predicted the rewrap, but they just lost their gunfights. And then round 7, C9 just gave up the B site, allowed Surge to plant, and then in a 3v3, Gwyn hits 2 good snipes, and they win at 6-1. Going to our Overload, this is the only game mode that seems like Cloud9 actually know how to play, and again, Encourage and Nezra are the only ones going positive on their side. Lunars and Tej also the only one going positive, so pretty consistent throughout the series with that. Surge started out really hot though, almost capped, but Nezra and Encourage able to stop them. Then Z9 makes a good cap, get pushed up and get one cap. And then later on they stay pushed up, and especially Nezra, he was pushed up quite a bit. They're able to get their second half to go up 2-0 in the first half, so it was looking like pretty solid for them. Surge was able to play a pretty good cap in the first minute of the second half, but Ocus pops a 2-piece on plane and somehow spawns P2. He pushed to block, and then they get their third cap, so Ocus made the play. Even though not going statistically good, he was able to make the play there, get them pushed up, and be able to get a third cap, which put them at 3-1. C9 go 4 dead as the cap hits the flank, and Surge are able to get a second cap. C9 almost trolled at the very end. They get pushed up into Surge's spawn, which allows Surge to have a chance to get a cap in OT, but they were barely able to stop it at like the 18-wheeler and stop that cap from pushing it to overtime. And then our map 4 was Tej was just dominating on this Den hard point. It wasn't really close at all. The closest it got was the P3 on the second rotation. C9 able to have pretty solid hold, actually, get about 50 points, bring it back to a 70-point lead. But then the P4, Vancouver's basically able to get a full 60 and then close out the map there. So not a really good series for C9, pretty good for Cloud9 or Vancouver to win this one. So very good at Vancouver, able to win this one and go at this time 2-4. So that was very helpful for them. Cloud9 1-6. Then our next matchup was FaZe versus LA Thieves. FaZe are able to take this one in a 3-2 fashion. Pretty good out of them. FaZe has definitely had their struggles. Thieves are now having their struggles. I don't know. It's tough for Thieves just because they picked up Neum, and they're playing a lot better. And then FaZe on the other side haven't made a roster change, but I feel like if FaZe didn't get a top 3 at the last event, they probably would have made a change, actually. I was honestly surprised that they didn't make a change, even with the top 3. Granted, they probably should have got at least into championship if Neptune didn't 1v2 them. So it's one of those things where if like they don't get 1v2'd by Neptune, maybe they make finals and they win, and then there's definitely no chance. But the fact that they got third and now they're not playing good is part of the reason I think there's a lot of question about them. You know, they are 3-5. Thieves though now 4-3, so not much better out of Thieves. They still look a little bit compromised, but FaZe able to take this one. MVP was Simp with 1.08 in this series, 12k damage. On the other side, Neum doing his thing. So Neum and Scrap both doing their thing. The sub duo on the other side not doing so hot. Map 1, though, was an absolute bang out. Pretty close map the whole time. Thieves able to take the start, though, pretty good. Have a good P1, P2, able to go about 50 points or 40 points. And then they honestly continue that distance here on the P3. On this Den. Yeah, I was pretty sure it was Den. And then they're able to have a good P4. They get about 30, 40 points on the P4. Only let FaZe get 10 points. But then FaZe get that P1, P2 chain. Able to take the lead, actually, after that second P2. So they go from 50 points to 126. So about a 70-point swing for them, really, in those two hills. Able to take that one pretty well. They go into the P3. Pretty tie game. And it's about a tie game all the way through that second rotation. 5-point difference. Thieves up after that second rotation. And it just kind of swings back and forth. Thieves get a better hand on P1. FaZe get a better hand on P2. Thieves get a better hand on P3. Thieves needing 7 points to win the game. But, however, FaZe do make the absolute play. They rotate through P4, get the first wave. Thieves spawn P2. They get the second wave and win the game. So, FaZe able to give up that P3. They knew they weren't going to win Thieves weren't going to win on the P3 anymore. They gave it up, rotated new, able to get the first wave, which is all you really had to do was secure that first wave, secure that second wave, and boom, they take that map 1. Kind of a choke for Thieves. Definitely could have closed out that map 1 a little bit better, but FaZe with a good comeback there. They got 30 points on the last hill without letting Thieves get 7. Thieves did start solo pushing that second one, but it was one of those things where the time was running out. You kind of feel the pressure, but they probably should have played a little bit slower as a team and tried to at least break them. Then it goes to a Den, Search and Destroy. Really good map for Neum and Hydra and Scrap, honestly. On the other side of Booza doing his thing. FaZe able to take the first 4 rounds of it. Great first round for Abuza. Good knife in the smoke from 0-4 in the second round. And then a good quick plant on the B from FaZe in the third round to win using their numbers. And then in round 4, Draza clutches a 1v1 against Simp, where he had a good play in the window on A to clutch that up. Thieves still have a good round 5. Round 6, Hydra has a good 2-piece mid creeping up, so now it's 2-4-2. Round 7, Scrap makes the play and allows him to flank to come into play, and then he is able to allow that flank to basically just plays his life in dojo, allows the flank to occur, and they are able to win that round, so 4-3. Great fake rewrap from Thieves in round 8, which allowed them to get Thieves off guard. I think someone stayed on the B-bomb, and they faked going back A and then came back, which was a good play. Round 9, they had a great 3v2 retake onto FaZe, able to win that one, go up 5-4, and then great first blood made by Neum in round 10. Then they cruised, which allowed them to plant A, and then they win the round and map on 6 straight rounds in a row. So really good out of them. Neum had a very, very good map. So able to really close that one out after starting out 4-0 was very good out of them. Then we move on to map 3, the Scar Overload. Really good map out of Neum here. He had a great series overall. 39 kills though on the Scar Overload. Very dominant from him. Able to take this one 6-3. So very good for Thieves. They look pretty good on Overload. They started out with a good cap. Or really good cap through plane, getting 3 dead, and then killing Draza for all 4, getting that cap for their first cap. Then the 4 dead and the cap for a second one to keep that kind of pushed up. Then they just push through blue and juke FaZe and get a third cap, so they go up 3-0. And then Scrap gets pushed up and Thieves 4 dead FaZe again, and they get their 4th cap in the first 4 minutes of the first half. So they were up 4-0 in the first half. Really dominant first half out of them. But in the second half, FaZe get pushed up where they get their first cap, but they're unable to stay up there, so they don't chain a second one. But then they went a minute and a half and left, and Draza grabs it and caps it in front of two people on Thieves. He just grabbed it on the army truck and literally just ran it right through him. FaZe were able to chain a third one. But FaZe, so it's now 6 or 4-3. But then FaZe 3 dead, Neum gets pushed up, and Thieves get a 5th cap, and then it spawns play, and they get a 6th cap, like pretty much near the end. That one kind of just shut the door basically completely. But even the 5th one probably shut the door. I think there was about 30 seconds left when the 5th one occurred, so it would have been a basically picture perfect end to the game for them to tie that one up. But overall, really, very, very good overload from Thieves. They kind of started letting it slip a little bit. When it got to 4-3, I was like, oh shit, this might be over. But they did a very good job getting that one. It seems like the blue side, spawning green might be better, but I don't think there's really a better side on that map. I think you're able to do a good job spawn trapping on both sides. Then it goes to a black heart hard point where Abizi is the only one on Thieves having a good series. 04 and Draza were having really good maps on this one, especially 04. He was making some plays to get pushed up behind them. The first rotation was pretty close, pretty tight. Thieves able to take a good 2P2, P3. But FaZe have a very good P4. They basically get a full 50 seconds on that P4, where Thieves get no time. So able to take the lead there, take the P5 pretty split. But the second rotation was all FaZe. They were able to just dominate them any way they wanted to. It seemed like every hold that Thieves had was broken in seconds by FaZe. It kind of just seemed like FaZe were able to get the first, like Thieves would get the first 10, FaZe would get the next 30, and then Thieves would get like the last 10-ish with some, contested time here and there. But it just seemed like FaZe were able to just get majority of the time. They are rotating through new, especially the second P3. 04 made some great plays over and over again on that one to allow them to get the pinch. He pinched instantly on the spawn and then pinched again as soon as he died, and they were able to break that one pretty convincingly. So really good map from FaZe to win by 90 points on that one. And then it goes to a Scar, Search, and Destroy. BZ having a tough one there, but all of them in general are having a tough one. Abuza and Simp having great maps damage-wise. Abuza, though, KD-wise as well. FaZe able to take the first 3 matches. Huge Scar from Scam from Hydra running into market after having numbers to throw the around the first one. Because if you look at it, they had 3 first bloods and only won 2 rounds, so they threw away some numbers twice. Scrap gets bad timing after throwing again in round 2, so they're able to have numbers up in that round 2. Great round 3 from FaZe using their numbers in round 3. They did a good job. First 2 rounds, Thieves get first blood and throw their life away. Round 3, FaZe gets their first blood and they don't throw their life away. So you're looking like, uh-oh, it's not good for Thieves. Round 4, Thieves do a good job. They get the lives matched up 3v3 by Neum, and they close out the round there. Great snipes from Abuza in round 5 to get the first blood. And then really good flank from Hydra in round 6, but he's unable to he gets found out by FaZe, and they clutch up. It was kind of some horse. It looked like he probably should have won it, but they're able to take him out. And then Thieves just, again, pushed to FaZe, and FaZe closed it out in round 6. They kind of just ran at him. I don't know if they were checked down, just kind of over it, and they just wanted to get it done with, but it was kind of a weird play that they just kind of ran at them. Moving on to our next match of Friday, we have Miami versus G2 Minnesota. This one ended in 3-0 fashion for Miami. Very surprising, actually, because G2's been a pretty good team. Both these teams tied now at 4-3. Overall, though, Super with a 1.56, absolutely dominating in this series. Really good out of him from, just against a good team. On the other side, Sky's having a pretty much of a struggle map. Metal's also not really having a good map. 0.76 or series, not really great. Super, not surprisingly, is the MVP of the series. First map, though, on the Scar, 250 to 224. It looks a little bit like closer than it was. I don't think it was really, though. Like, I don't know. It was really just a late second push. But other than all, it wasn't that close on the Scar. The first hill, they had a 100-point lead after P4, so they had a really dominant start from Miami in this one. But then G2's able to have a really good P5, which was very surprising because Miami is normally a good P5 hill team. But they were able to get a really good P5 from G2, actually able to continue into the P1, really. But then it's kind of just split in between this about 40-point gap the whole time, right until about the second P5. Again, G2 able to have a pretty solid P5, kind of keep it a little bit close. It still was pretty split, though. And then they actually have a really good P1 on that third rotation, able to get. They had it for a second. It was going to have to be a picture perfect hold on that P1 for the first rotation, but Miami were able to inevitably break that hill and close out that map. Map 2 was a raid, search, and destroy. Now this one was a big sell. You can see G2 were up 4-1 at one point, and then Miami wins 5 out of the next 6 maps, or yeah, 6 rounds to take it. So very weird out of them. G2 able to have a very good first round though. They get the first blood with a clean 4 dead. Then round 2 they get a really good 4v4 retake from Mamba. And then another good round from G2. Trakes was last up again. The first 3 rounds he was like last up. But then Miami able to have a really good round after Estriel cruised actually, and they go down 3-1 and they end up clutching it up. Great job getting the first blood from G2 and then playing the rewrap in numbers in that round 4. Or, yeah, the round 5, I mean. And then great. I'm fucking faded. I actually don't even know what I'm doing. Great round 6 win from G2. Or round 5 from G2 to win that one. But then Miami with a good round 6. They actually have a good round 7 too. It was a weird one where they were down numbers. It was kind of through mid. Then a really good round playing their numbers again in round 8. So they were just playing their numbers. We can look, they have 5 first bloods. So when they got their first blood, they were playing their numbers for sure. Then Miami gets Krempt, getting Krempt to stop and plant. And he's super with the 2 snipes in round 9, which was really good out of them. So right here to go 5-4. And then round 10, weird round, Drake stops planning, which looks kind of crazy, but then Miami are able to find 2 and then close out the round getting all 4 without dropping a life. And then Super is able to find Kremp with the first blood. They're able to find another one after Metals gets too weak, and then Rencor is able to find Mamba, leaving Skies in a 1v2 against Miami, and they're able to close it out in a 6-5 fashion on that raid. Both teams are very good raid S&D teams. Estriel was having an absolute blinder at the very beginning of this map, and then started to slow down near the end. Super, again, having a good map. And then the Scar Overload, Miami was able to take this one. Another really good map from Super. Not such a good map from Skies. G2 do a good job of pushing up. Mom and Espril each get 2 for a 4 dead, and G2 gets the first cap. Metal makes the play, though, through the plane to disrupt a Quip second cap. Then Miami had the device top green. They jump out for some reason, die, and G2 score a second one to go up 2-0. Miami have a good play to stop G2 at the goal line, but then Super pops 2, and Cap's still 2 alive. Blue. What the fuck? I'm sorry, I'm reading my notes, but it's like fucking gibberish sometimes. He gets 2 in top blue again, and Miami cap another one, so they tie it up 2-2. Second half was a mini. Like, Metals was able to find 1 in the flank on top green. Miami get a quick cap. They block G2 in the back and then spawn G2 P2, and they chain another one to go up 4-2. So at the very beginning of the second round, they're able to get pushed up, block in that top green from Metals. He able to keep blocking that spawn, and then they get that plane chain. But then G2 chokes the quick recap. There was miscommunication between Mamba and I believe Kremp. Kremp was pushed up, and Mamba didn't see that, and he also pushed up. He probably should have just grabbed the device and scored. Then Miami used their streak, and are able to get a 5th cap. But G2 do get a quick 3rd cap after that one. But then Miami used another streak, and they make it 5-3, and then they play TDM and are able to get just a 6 cap kind of at the end of the game and close that one out 3-0. Then we have our first matchup of Saturday, which is Paris GentleMates versus G2. G2 able to take this one 3-0 in a pretty dominant fashion other than the first map. Sib, the only one going positive for their team. Everyone on G2 going positive. Sky's MVP of the series for sure. Had a really good map 1 on the Scar hardpoint. Again, this one was pretty close throughout the time, except for the first, 3 hills. G2 able to have a really good first 3 hills, able to be up 40 points basically, but then M8 able to have a really good second for P4, able to basically take the lead by 2 points. Super duper close until about the the second P3. That was the last time it was pretty close. It was close. GentleMates go up about 30 points, about 30 points, and then G2 able to have a really good P1, tie the game back up, and then you chain a P2, P3, and able to win that one. The P3 was close though, for sure. Definitely could have been, you know, one that they could have like won that one on. I'm surprised they actually didn't. Even the P2, GentleMates could have won that one. They were able to chain that P1 to P3 though, which was very surprising out of them. MA had the rotation and they just had to clutch up, but G2 was able to stop them from getting 2 points and break that one on that P3. So very good out of them. Then we go to map 2 on that raid S&D. GentleMates have not looked good on raid at all, really. They look a little bit lost. Estriel, though, having a good map. Skies as well, having a good map. GentleMates able to take that round 1. Great first round of them, getting clean 4 dead. Ghosty finds 3, but G2 able to close it out in that round 2. Round 3, they get a 4 dead from G2, just close it out quick. They go down first blood and Envoy, and then Envoy gets a first blood in laundry, and GentleMates are able to close that one out. The laundry, they kind of just pushed out that laundry. Round 5 from G2, they win after going down in lives. Great job from G2 finding the first blood, but then M8 gets stuck not being able to plant the bomb in that round 5. Great round from Neptune getting 3 though in the round 7. Neptune's able to find 3 in that round 7. Round 8, Mamba go with a good 1v3 against Ghosty. He was kind of trolling on the pillars. Definitely should not have pushed them. Mamba on the middle area, but he's able to find Ghosty, and then he turns and kills Neptune out of kitchen. I kind of fried Neptune, but it was a weird head glitch that Mamba was on, but still, very, very good play out of Mamba in that 1v3. And then round 9, it's an easy round 9. They're able to just close it out pretty convincingly and just kind of dominate the GentleMates. Then it goes to exposure, overload, and this one was pretty similar. It just looks like GentleMates are not on a team right now. Like they just look a little bit lost. It was a pretty slow first half from both teams. GentleMates are able to get stuck in their base for a while with the device. They were kind of just, I don't know what they were doing. They were getting pushed, but like still, exposure is such a big map that if you get like any sort of waves, you should just be able to get out. But G2 is able to find a quick 4 dead and get a cap because of the way GentleMates was kind of in their spawn with the device. Then GentleMates almost have 2 caps, and on the second attempt, G2 is able to cap the device in the extended time to go up 2-0. They stopped GentleMates at like the goal line twice, but the second one they were able to push it and get that extended time and get a second cap to go up 2-0. GentleMates were able to get a cap though at the start of the second half to make it 2-1, but G2 actually give up the cap because it's going to spawn that P2. So they allow them to get that P5 cap side. They get the P2 and they get that third cap to make it 3-1. Very good play out of G2 there. But then they're actually able to get the device off of 4 dead, get pushed up, and make it 4-1. Then G2 get a pretty late cap to make it 5-1, but GentleMates get a pity cap to make it 5-2. So it really was 5-1, but GentleMates gets like a last-second buzzer beater cap to make it 5-2. Really good series out of G2. GentleMates definitely having their struggles. I don't think they're going to make a roster change. I don't think they should either. I think they just need to figure out some of their woes right now. I think it's like, there's some other teams that need to make changes. GentleMates is not one of those teams. Moving on to our next series, we have OpTic versus FaZe. This was a 3-0 in favor of OpTic. They're now currently undefeated. Another weird one where OpTic's matches aren't working, so we're just going to have to go off my notes, which also means that the overview is not correct. I'm going to assume Hook is probably the MVP of the series, or Shotzi. Hook was frying in this one. We can go to the map 1. Hook with 37 and 27. OpTic pretty ahead on the Scar Search and Destroy. Basically up 40 points after the P1. Able to go up another 40 points after the P5. FaZe having a good P3, P4. It was pretty close though. FaZe cut it to like 20, but then OpTic with a good P4 again. They had really good P4s. They're able to break that P4 very, very well. P5 FaZe able to have, but then a P1, OpTic able to get about 30 points to FaZe's 10 points on that P1, and then OpTic's able to close it out on that P3 there, or P2, sorry. But Hook was frying. They went to a listening with both teams, I believe. And they sounded pretty good. OpTic definitely sounded a lot calmer than FaZe. FaZe sounded very frantic, but both teams had very, very good comms. They just scammed that P4. So this P4 was very important. They had the rotation and they just kind of blew it. And it wasn't even at like the start of the P4. It was actually on the P3 that they were basically pushed up market, and I think it was Hook was able to get by them into blue and kill one person blue, and then they all started spawning out green. And OpTic was in there, able to spawn blue, and they basically get a 60-point hold. It's actually more of a 40-point hold. But FaZe got 4 seconds on that hill, so very good. That was a huge separator because they were already up by 20 points after the P3, able to go about 60 points. So when FaZe was able to get that decent P5, it didn't really help that OpTic had just had a really dominant P4, and able to just make that go up a lot higher. But map 2, OpTic able to take, I believe it was 6-1 in favor of OpTic. Shotzi's able to get the first blood round 1 and do a good job of finding FaZe on A-bomb and using their lives against them in that round 1. Insane round 2 from OpTic with Dashy and Merc clutching up a 2v4, but Dashy with insane 2-piece with the sniper. Round 3, OpTic able to find the first blood again and win that round, even though Merc kills Dashy. It's funny, I was watching Formal and he was like, nice Mace, even when Dashy died. FaZe able to win their first round in round 4. Abuza hits a good snipe after being down lives to make it even in numbers. Round 5, Hook gets 1 and dies to make it 3v3. Shotzi finds one off the bomb with Merc. He finds another one and they close out a 2v1 together. Another 2v4 for Merc and Dashy, but it was mainly a 2v1. You've probably seen the clip, but Dashy was able to hit a pretty good 2-piece snipe. I thought it was pretty insane, especially the second kill on them connector as he planted the bomb, rewrapped to mid, and able to hit a pretty good 2-piece snipe there. Basically a perfect play. Then the round 7, Hook finds one on the Draza, another one mid on Simp. Merc kills 04 top window, and then Hook just knifes Abuza to make it 6-1. He snipes him in that back small room to make it 6-1 in favor of OpTic. Map 3 was a Scar overload. FaZe are able to get a quick cap instantly. Hook stocks almost the second one, second insta cap though. Then Hook also makes the play top green, but FaZe have good stuns and stops him from the cap. He was able to almost jump out the window and get that good cap, but FaZe were able to stun him a little bit. OpTic 4 dead and get pushed up to cap it to tie to 1-1. Great plays from OpTic. The line and getting kills, getting pushed up, getting a second cap after some good kills from Hook and Shotzi. So they're able to stay pushed up there after that first cap, make it 2-1. OpTic played for the overtime for the free play. They actually almost trolled, but 04 was a second away from getting it and having a free cap. They were really close to their base, and 04 was almost able to pick that one up and cap it for them. So 2-1 in favor of OpTic in that first half. OpTic with a really quick first cap with which was almost stopped at the goal line, but still pushed up with Merc pops a 3-piece, and they get their 4th cap there. Shotzi stayed pushed up though after, and he was just spawn trapping the shit out of them in top blue. But FaZe get a good wave of kills, get pushed up to get a second cap, make it 4-2. But OpTic stayed pushed up in blue, which allows them to get a spawn trap and make a 5th cap. So they allowed FaZe kind of to get that one, and they stayed pushed up. They didn't really backtrack after they kind of figured out they were going to make FaZe was going to cap it anyways. FaZe were able to make a late push, get a 3rd cap with 30 seconds left, but they were able to close it out 5-3. Pretty dominant from OpTic in all of the series, but let alone also that overload. Take it 3-0. Then we move to our next matchup of Saturday, which was Riyadh Falcons versus Toronto Koi. Now, this was a surprising 3-0. Not because like Falcons, I was surprised they won. I think it was just I'm surprised they won 3-0. For some reason this isn't working, so we're just going to have to kind of do this. I'm sorry. My bad. I'm actually going to see if I can maybe pull it off of the CDL website just to see the scores. But it's looked like not working, so that's unfortunate. That's not working. Oh, maybe we can actually pull it up. We can pull it up. We'll pull it up real quick. So Toronto on a black heart are able to lose 250 to 160. Really good P1 start and P2 from Falcons, but Koi are able to break that P2 to get the last 30 seconds. Falcons have a really good P3 and get about a 50 seconds on the P3. Able to bring that one back. Or no, able to increase that lead. Really good P4 though from Koi to get about 50 seconds to make it close. Then the P5 on the first rotation was split, so it was basically a tie game after the first rotation, but great P1 from Falcons. But then Koi basically have the same thing on the P2 in return to basically tie the game again. But Falcons get a really good P3 to rotate. They hold that P3 Um, and a really good P2. Kismet makes the play and rotates to the back, or he rotates through P. He made a good play on the P2, but it wasn't like P2. It was P3 to P4. Kismet makes the play in P2, which allows them to rotate the back to P4. They break the P4 early and then basically win the game on the P4. Basically a perfect P3 to P4 rotation. I think it was like 110 seconds that they got on that P3 to P4 to close out the game, which was really good out of them. I don't know why teams keep playing Falcons on Blackheart. That's kind of their map, in my opinion. They look very, very good on Blackheart. So not sure why Toronto picked it one, but it is what it is. Map 2 was a raid S&D. They were able to take this one 6-5. Really good first round blood from Koi to win that one. Kips with a good 2 from round 2 to make it into a 3v1. And they were able to win that one. Great 4v4 retake from Koi to win round 3, especially Joe with 3. Great 2v2 win from Insight and Kleenex. Insight hit the most unreadable route in that round 4. They planted the bomb, and then he re-wrapped basically the 2 players left from Falcons just behind them a little bit, able to kill them off basketball court and win that one. Kismet able to win, find 3, round 5 to stop the bleeding, get their first round win to make it 4-1. Great round from Koi getting the first blood, and then Joe flanks Laundry and gets a kill to make it a 3v1, and they win that round 5. Weird 3 pillar push from Koi and Falcons. They win that round 7 to make it 5-2. It was a really weird round there. Round 8, Kismet stays alive mid, and Falcons able to find 3 mid and win the round again. Another weird round again. They were just kind of banging it. I don't know if Koi was just like, fuck it, we're up. We're just going to keep banging mid. We only need one more. But it was a really weird round. Able to make it a 5-3 now. Falcons go quick B plan and able to win just a 4v4 retake and to make it a 5-4. Kismet in the round 10 is able to find the first blood. And then they're able to retake B plant against Koi in a 3v4, which is very good at them. Force the round 11. 1-for-1 trade in the round 11, make a 3v3. Extended streaks, and Falcons find Koi. They find one onto them while he's streaking. Then Celium reads the Joe rewrap, and they win the round 5. Round 11, they win 5 rounds in a row to win that map and go up 2-0. Then they play an Overload Exposure, and again, similar to the Blackheart, I feel like Overload Exposure is just Falcons' best map, and I don't know why teams keep playing Falcons on it. It's kind of surprising in my opinion. I really don't know like why they keep doing that, but it's kind of weird. Really slow start though to the game, but then Kips gets a 5-3 through mid to allow Toronto to get their first cap. Then Falcons play super slow through mid, and they play their kills, get a 4 dead, and get the cap pushed up. Toronto get a free play, but it's shut down very quickly. So they tie the end of that first half 1-1. So pretty good map after the first half. Kismet gets a quick 5 spree though, and Falcons score a quick one in the second half to go up 1. Falcons fake rewrap the device to A, go B, as Exnid hits the flank to distract them. But then Koi making an instant recap to make it 3-2. The play though that Exnid hit to go up 3-1 was unbelievable. He hit through like circle as Falcons made a rewrap play towards him. Then they wrapped it back. As they wrapped it back, Koi turned all their back. He shot them in the ass. They turned back to him. And then Falcons were able to slip by. But Koi does a good job of instant recap to make it 3-2. Kismet then cruises, though, and Falcons are able to take the device from mid and go P5 and score easy to go up 4-2. Then they instantly chain a P2 spawn to make it 5-2 because Koi were trapped just because of the cruise in the previous cap. Celium cruises again right after that one to make it 6-2. Then Koi still spawn trap, allows Falcons to score 7th, and it was over for a while, but it was over after that 7-1 for sure. It was statistically impossible for them to win after that one, but good map out of them. Then we go to our next map, which was Boston Breach versus Cloud9. This one we do have stats for, thank God. Purge with a dominant series, 1.41. Snoopy also the very good series here. All of C9 not having a good series. Map 1 was 251.76. This one, though, even though not too close, it was close at one point. After the first 4 hills, it was still only about a 30-point game. Even after the first rotation, it was only about a 30-point game. But then that second rotation, Boston are able to just kind of take the lead from there. C9 are always just making like one mistake. Like it was really just like one mistake over, like just kind of made that lead a little bit too ungettable. But it was like every hill they were just like perfect, boom, it's over. Like it was really weird. But the P4, P5 at the second rotation was kind of what did it. They're able to go from 183 to 232, so about a 50 point to 20 point difference on those two hills. Then they're able to just close out on that first rotation or third rotation P1. Good map from Boston. Uh, Purge actually going negative. Snoopy with a really good map. Nasty and Smart also with very, very good maps. Snoopy with 3,700 damage. Hyde trying to do his best, though, on the other side. Then we go to a Colossus S&D. This one was a really weird map. Really good out of Snoopy. Purge as well, having a good map. But good first round from C9, able to take that one. But then a really good nade from Boston to get the first blood and win that round 2. Round 3, they just get a 4 dead, kind of dominate the map, able to get 6 first bloods and kind of use those first bloods wisely. Good round 4 and 5 from Boston, though. They were just running down, kind of just running them down. So it's kind of weird. They were just running down through mid and just killing them. Round 6, C9 are able to win a 3v3. They find 1 on B and able to win that one. Boston able, though, to get a clean 4 dead in the round 7. And then round 8, they kind of just closed it out again. This wasn't one where they were like making insane plays. Boston was kind of just running it down, which I do respect, but it was kind of just insane that they were just doing it to them. Then C9 able to win the overload, even though all going negative. So very good at them, able to win an overload while going negative. Good map out of Purge and Snoopy. This one, though, really good job from really good first 2 early caps out of Boston to go up 2-0. C9 stopped 2 caps, though, from Boston on the goal line. That if Boston had someone blue, they would have capped those ones, and they could have ended the first half 4-0. And honestly, this series and saved some people some time. But C9 able to stop those caps at the goal line. C9 get a last-second pickup and almost score it in the first half, but it ends 2-0. So good stop from Boston there. Did not make it 2-1. C9 do a good job, though, getting pushed up and capping device early to make it 2-1. Then with 30 seconds left in the second half, C9 get pushed up, especially Nedra, and they cap it to tie it and make it go into overtime. Nedra finds Purge, which he was kind of scamming, but Nasty, and then he finds Nasty like right after it. There's a little bit of like a 30-second period, which is a 2v4. Snoopy is able to find Nedra, though, top red. He gets traded out by Hyde. And then they just wait and find Spart, and they kill him in a 3v1. So good map out of C9 to force it into overtime, but Boston definitely had opportunities to win that one. They were out slaying him by a ton. They just trolled the push-up. They just kept getting goal line stop, basically. They would get like a 4 dead, and then like one guy would make like a play and like just stop the goal line cap over and over again. So definitely had opportunity to win that one, but good out of C9 to win that one, extend the series. But it didn't really matter much. Similar to the first match, our first hard point, able to have a really good first rotation, keep it close. Second, even the P1 was pretty close, but then they have one mistake on a P2 where they just allow them to get a little bit more of a lead, and then Boston is able to just use that lead. They're a good team. They have a lot of experienced players. Not the best team, but like they're a better team than C9, so they're able to use that, go up by 50, go up by 60, and then close out the map on that P2 on the set third rotation. So it's again just they kind of just troll these certain scenarios where if they hold them, on this case it was the P2, and then they actually have another bad P2 because it's still somewhat doable if you have a good P2 here, basically a 40-second hold. You could make this 190 to 220 something, and then P3, P4 make it look interesting, but they just have a few hills that kind of just screw them over where they get like full 60 basically, and that's not what you can have against a good team. Well, you can't have it against a good team, but you can't have it against a bad team either in Miami, or in Boston, I mean. Then we move on to Miami versus Los Angeles Thieves. This is able to go map 5. Miami's actually able to take this one, so Thieves going 0-2 in the weekend. Not really good at them. Miami on the other side going 2-0, so very good at them. MVP of the series is Rencor, I'm assuming. Ooh, look at the flex again. Neum, again, the only one shooting. So Neum having 2 good series this weekend, even though Thieves losing. So not good for them. Map 1, though, was a Den Search and Destroy, or Hardpoint, sorry. This was a close match, very, very close match the whole way through. Really good map out of Trakes. And then on the other side, Scrap putting out the Dammy. But close map the whole time, basically. First rotation, they're able to have a good first 3 hills from Miami, but then Thieves able to have a good P4, take the lead going to that second rotation. The second one was kind of the opposite, though. Thieves were able to have a good P1, P2, and 3, but then they allow Miami to have the opposite, where Miami's able to have a good P4. But instead, it kind of happens again. Miami, though, able to have a really good P1, P2. They go from 169 to 245. So it's about a 75-point hold to Thieves' 10 points. So they really had a good P1, P2 rotation, which kind of killed Thieves. That was really what kind of threw them off. P3, they're able to just close it out. They need 5 points of Thieves, 60 points basically. So able to close down that P3. Really good out of Thieves or Miami to win that one. Then we go to a Colossus, Search and Destroy. Super and Trakes having very, very good maps. Especially Super, he was unbelievable with the sniper in this series, but in this map as well. But really good out of him. Thieves able to take the first round. Really good round of them. Just get the first blood, play their first bloods. Thieves do only have 3 first bloods though, so Miami was kind of trolling their lives. Round 2 though, Thieves do a good job of hitting through mid, able to win that one. Round 3 though, Miami do a good job of using their first blood in this case and using their numbers. Good round 4 from Thieves though to smoke after the plant. The smoke goes down after the plant and they play the trades well. Round 5 though from Thieves, they get a nice clean 4 dead for a 1 life trade, so they get a 4 lives to 1. Good snipe though from Super in the round 6, which allows them to win that one. He basically finds the first blood in that round. He had a ton of first bloods. How many does he have? 6 first bloods himself, so Super fine first bloods insanely. Round 7, Super finds a nade onto Hydra and Tunnel, and then they just outtrade Thieves. So that one's going to make it go to a 4-3 in that case scenario. Then Miami finds another first blood. Trades happen, make it a 2v2, and then Miami able to close it out for 3 rounds in a row. Another first blood from Super in round 9. He finds another, which allows Miami to go up to win 4 in a row. So he finds 2 snipes in that round. Super finds another first blood, but Miami don't wait for medals. In this round 10, I believe it was. Yeah, in the round 10, Metals had the absolute perfect flank. He hit through mid, was coming through P2. He was able to get one, but Thieves pushed up Statue and able to find Miami, just kind of lacking, and they're able to just turn on to Metals, who's last up. If Miami just played and put their controller down and just hid, Metals probably going to be able to at least get 2, if not more, which probably would allow them to close out the map there, but Thieves able to make it go to around 11. In the round 11, though, Super finds 2 snipes at the very, very beginning. He finds one to Hydra, then Scrap slides out again. He finds Scrap. I don't know why Scrap slid out into the same exact spot, and they just use those numbers to win out that one and go up 2-0. Thieves, though, in the Scar Overload, able to extend the series. Really, really good job from Miami getting pushed up to get their first cap, though. But then Niam makes the absolute play. He gets pushed up onto the 18-wheeler side, makes the play. Allows Thieves to get their first cap, and then Thieves do a really good job of staying pushed up to get a second cap, and then the first half ends that way. It's very back and forth, a lot of goal line stops. The second half was basically the same thing, a lot of goal line stops from both teams. One team would get there, they would stop them, they'd get pushed up, stop them, back and forth, back and forth. Both teams unable to really make anything happen, but then Thieves able to get a last second cap by Niam to make it 3-1. He kind of just finesses his way through and just gets a cap to go up 3-1. But it was really 2-1. But it was nail in the coffin type of situation. Then we have an exposer hard point. All of these kind of frying, scrapping, Niam especially. On the other side, Super only one able to go positive. Hydra, after the first rotation, was 5 and 15. So if we look at this one, Miami up 50 points after the first rotation. Thieves able to have a really good P1 and P2 to tie up the game. P3 for Miami was pretty good on that second rotation. Pretty good P3 out of them. But Miami were able to get about 110 points. Actually, I overlooked this one. After the P3, Miami's able to get about actually, it was the P2. The P3 to P2, P4, or P5 in the first rotation was unbelievable. They're able to get about 110 points. I had completely skipped over that. Which was completely dominant from them, and Hydra was 5 and 15 at this point. But then Thieves are able to bounce back on the second rotation, get a good P1, P2. P3 is pretty mixy, but then they do it to them on the P4, P5. Thieves go from basically at 140 points to 3 points in that second rotation on those P3, P4, P5. Hydra started out 5-15, and he ends up 25-22. So very good second rotation from Hydra, and it shows. They basically just turned it completely 180 around. The only hill that Miami really had was the P3. They got 40 points on a P3, but other than that, it was all Thieves in that second rotation. It definitely showed that Hydra was just frying, which made me think the reverse sweep was happening. But then it goes to an exposure, search, and destroy. Rencor 11-2, died only twice. Everyone on Thieves not doing so hot. Gurst, great first round from Rencor, able to win a 1v2, made nade shot, turn off his stream. He said if they 1v2 us right now, I'm turning off my stream. They 1v2'd, he turned off the stream. So not a good look for Thieves in that sense. Really good round 2 though from Rencor again, getting lined up again for Thieves. He's able to find 2 more in the back of P3, able to get a 2-piece there, go up 2-0. Then Miami able to get another good round 3, get a queen 4 dead. Round 4 though, Thieves get the bomb down in a 2v3 situation. Miami don't challenge though because Rencor, I believe, was close to his streak, so they played a little bit slow, and there was about 15 seconds left, and it seemed like they probably weren't going to be able to do it, so they just kind of ran away. Round 5, they find Neum, and then Rencor streaks, and Miami win the round to go up 4-1. Rancor died for the first, or round 5, I believe that was. Rancor dies for the first time in round 6, but Miami still end up winning the round, and they go up 5-1. Good play from Thieves, though. They get pushed up through mid in the round 7. They find one. They get a 1-for-1 trade. They find another one on the Xbox, go up 2-3 in live count, and then they're able to close that one out. Then Miami in the round 8 have a good play. They get a pick, and then they cruise, and after the cruise, they basically close out the map. It's tough on exposure. There's so much space you could take with a cruise up in the air. There's not really many places to hide other than like P4, P3, and then the container, and that's what happened is that the cruise actually got no kills, but because they have information where everyone else, they were able to find 2 kills, and then they just 3v1 shot Niyama, who I believe was in the top container, and close out that map in a 6-2 fashion. Map 5, though. Then it goes to a 3-0, Toronto versus Boston. Really good map for Toronto, especially inside. He was absolutely shooting today against Boston Breach. Everyone on Breach, negative. Best one was Snoopy. At least he was trying with 7k damage, but everyone else kind of getting shit on. First map was pretty dominant out of Boston, Toronto. First rotation on this Scar was pretty close. About first 4 hills were pretty close, but other than that, it's about a 45-point lead going into the second rotation. Boston able to have a decent P1, but both teams kind of just split it. Then Toronto able to have a really good P2, P3. P2 is probably the most important hill on this whole map. If you can have good P2s, you can probably have a pretty good one because you're able to get about a good 40 to 50 seconds sometimes on these P2s. So getting a good P2 is a very, very important thing, and Toronto able to have a very good P2 on that second rotation. Able to even kind of chain that P3 together. Boston able to have a pretty good P4 though. Able to get about it's about 20-20, so not really great. Even the P5 was not really great either. They'd be able to get about 30 seconds to 30 seconds. And then Toronto was able to close it out on that P1 on that second rotation. It was kind of just unfortunate. It was over really before it started. Not started, but after that second rotation, that P2 was kind of just a lost cause. They brought it back here for a little bit, but they got equal time. So it wasn't like they were gaining on them. It was more they were just prolonging the inevitable type of thing, which good round out of Toronto, honestly. Then we move to a raid, search, and destroy. Insight with a 2.67. Really good map out of him. Spart on the other side, only one going positive. Good one, round 1, though, from Boston. Able to take that one. Round 2, though, Koi being down lives. They win that one. Boston able to have 6 first bloods. Toronto only 3, so Boston definitely throwing their lives away. One of them was in the round 2. Boston then find the first blood, get the bomb down uncontested to win the round 3. So able to use the first blood very wisely there, very well. Great round 3 from Kips, able to get 3 kills. Insight able to close it out with a re-rep, make it 2-2. Great first blood from Kips and Insight with 2 snipes in the round 5, able to go up 3-2. Toronto again get a first blood with Snoopy pinching too early in the round 6. He was kitchen area, and all he had to do was wait for his teammates to just start shooting, and then he shoots people in the butt. But he went too early, and they were able to find him and close out that one. Koi able to just out-trade back Laundry in the round 7. This is one where the first bloods isn't really super important because it was like a 1-1 kind of thing. It was like Toronto die first, but then the person that killed the person on Toronto instantly died. But they were able to just close that one out in that round 7 to go up 5-2. Koi able to get the bomb down, but then Boston able to retake in that round 8 and make it a 5-3. Koi able, or yeah, 5-3, and then Koi are able to just take the last round, the round 9, close it out after getting first blood, and able to just close that one out and go up 6-3. Move into the overload on the Den, which was an absolute belt ass. There's not much to say. All of Boston, the best they had was a 0.8. Insight on the other side with a 2.07. Jodeci's 1.76. They were all shooting. Toronto, I don't know. There's not much to say. They're able to get 4 caps in the first half. But the last one was literally with 8 seconds left. I don't know what Boston was doing. They looked like Toronto was able to literally just walk around the little bookshelf that's in Dojo and just score. Like no one even shot or stunned at them. So don't really know what they were doing there. Boston was just in their, or Toronto was just in their spawn the whole time. Toronto had 87% of the whole time of the device in the first half. So definitely just dropping sack on them in their spawn the whole time, spawn trapping them. And then Koi able to get a quick cap in the second half to make it 5-1. Then they chained 2 more to make it 7-0 with 3 minutes left. I don't know why Boston kept trying. Like, I get it. You want to try to the end, but there's 10 seconds between each device cap. So that's 70 seconds right there. So that's a minute and a half almost. And then you got to run it in. So they would have had to literally perfectly time every single one. No kills happening to come back from 7-0. And then once it got to 2 minutes, they were still trying. It was like, just let them cap and get it over with. It's going to be an 8-0 or 7-0 either way. Maybe a 7-2. Like, I don't know. It was kind of one of those things where it's like, just give up. Throw in the white tag. Like, just raise the flag type of thing. But really good map out of Toronto there and series. Moving on to OpTic versus Carolina. Pretty good match for OpTic here. Able to go 8-0. I guess they have 2 more matches. Oh, no, they have 1 match. No, they have 1 match 1 week and then 1 match another week. I don't know where their 1 match is. But OpTic able to take this one 8-0, or able to move on to 8-0. Able to take this one 3-1. Hook MVP, not surprising, got 1.21, 111 kills for Hook. Holy shit, this guy was having a day. Shotzi also putting out the damage. Same thing with Mercules, even Dashy. There's not much you need to do when Hook's dropping 111. Map 1 though, Blackheart. Carolina able to take that map 1. Hook was doing his thing, 37-32. Mercules, 33-27. Shotzi, though, not having the best map 1. Craze having a very good map 1, though, on the other hand. So very good map out of him. OpTic started out really hot. They were up 69 points after the first hill. So very good, or 59 points after the first hill. So very good out of them. First 3 hills. But then Carolina able to have a very good P4, make it a pretty close game. P1 was pretty even, pretty close back and forth. P2 again, pretty close. They had to listen with Carolina in this one. They sounded actually pretty good. They sounded pretty aware of where everyone was. They weren't tweaking really, and able to kind of just keep that one very, very well. But then it went to a P3 and P4, and Carolina did a very good job on these P3, P4s. They are 138, and they finished at 232. So basically 100 points to OpTic's 6 points. So huge swing on those P3, P4s. Able to chain that one very, very well. At the end of the P3, they're able to do the perfect thing where they spawn OpTic in the back. Able to spawn OpTic in the back, get to that P4, able to get that one. After the P4, they needed about 18 seconds to win. OpTic, though, do a very good job on the P5. They get about a 40-second hold on the P5, only let Carolina get 8. So able to do that. Then it goes to the P1. OpTic's first there, but Carolina do a very, very good job of breaking. Since they only needed about 10 seconds left, Dashy did have a streak. He tried to call it in, but it takes forever to call in, so he's unable to actually get the streak down inactive. I think if he was the first one dead on the break, he might have had a chance. But the fact that he was like the 3rd one dead, by the time he spawns up, it was about like 8 seconds left that he had. If he was the first person to die and it was contested for a little bit longer, the streak might have been a little bit useful. But overall, it was not. And Carolina was able to take that one. But OpTic almost did come back and win that one after their 100-point hold from Carolina. Very good hold, though, from Carolina. They had a very good map there. But then it goes to a Den, search and destroy. OpTic able to take this one 6-4. Really good map out of Shotzzy. 15-4 from Shotzzy. Absolutely having on this one. Mercules as well, though, having a very good map. Shotzzy with 1,400 damage. I just had to check the damage real quick. Good first round, though. Here out of Ravens, able to take that first round, go up 1-0. OpTic able to, take the first blood here in that second round, able to take that one and go up 2-1 or go tie at 1-1, sorry. With Mercules getting that first blood in a 4v4 retake, which helped out hugely. Good round 3 though from Ravens, having the bomb dropped, able to play it and not let OpTic get it. On a 2v4, it was dropped, I believe, on like that little wall hop area, and they were able to just kind of know the bomb's down, able to play that one. I think Shotzzy actually almost clutched that one up, but they were able to take him out. Round 4, Dashy able to get a good snipe for the first blood and a pistol kill. It was absolutely insane combo. Sniped the shit out of him and then get a pistol kill. Round 5, Exceeds finds 2 snipes to make it a 3v1 against Merc. And they're able to close that one out. They were kind of hiding, but you're playing Mercules, probably a little nervous. Really good round 8 from OpTic. They need to find the first blood. And they were able to do it, close out that one. Shotzzy finds the first blood in the round 7. But then Ravens find 2, and Shotzzy almost 1v3'd them, but Exceed's able to clutch it up. He was running back to check it with his knife out, wanted to knife him. I don't think he actually knifed, but he was trying to get away. It was actually almost similar to the Miami 1v3 clutch that he had, but very, very close clutch opportunity. Really good round 8, though, out of OpTic, especially Dashy with the snipes, make it go 4-4. Shotzzy finds a first blood in the round 9, and then he's able to find another 2 outer after they planted the bomb in the 3v3. I'm pretty sure they knew he was there. I don't know if they forgot about him or they actually just didn't see him. I thought they were going to be able to see him, but he's able to find 2, and they're able to get that one. Ravens find the first blood, but then Lurks and Shotzzy have a really weird interaction. It was a 3v3. Shotzzy was trying to get a jump spot. Lurks was laying under the little hop-up area and on the other side of Dojo on P3. Shotzzy they're back to back at one point. He runs around, Shotzzy turns around, shoots him in the butt, and it allows them to win. So really weird out of them. Not round 11. In the round 10, Dashy was able to find a pistol snipe kill, really good 2-piece, and then they're able to close that one out and go up 6-4 and win that map. Then it goes to a Den Overload, where Hook was actually dominating. So was Shotzzy, but Hook was actually having his way. Ravens have a really good first cap. They play well getting pushed up into OpTic spawn. But then Dashy does a really good job getting pushed up through P2. He gets behind them, shoots someone in the back. Shotzzy gets pushed up through couches. He was able to cut off the other spawner, and OpTic able to get a cap with about a minute left. Tie at 1-1. Then OpTic play for the last play. Shotzzy finds 2. Dashy flanks, shits on someone in the connector area. And then Hook is able to kill the last guy with the pistol and cap it right at the halftime to make it 2-1 going into the second half. When that happened, I knew OpTic was probably going to win this overload just because pretty demoralizing thing to happen when it's 1-1. And especially the guy connector that Dashy killed, he got shit on. Then OpTic able to get a pretty good first cap at the start of the second half to make it 3-1. Ravens do a really good job of getting pushed up and getting someone mid-cut, allowing them to block and get a 3-2. Then OpTic uses 2 streaks in a row to get 2 caps. Kind of unfortunate, you're just stuck. They're able to get 2 caps after both cruises go up 5-2, and they're able to close out the map. You're kind of just stuck in your spawn. Hook was in their spawn like crazy, especially when they were cruising. He was just pushed up like unbelievable, but he was pushed up the whole time, just in their base the whole time, especially when they're spawning lobby side and dojo side. Hook was back by those pillars like crazy, just shooting them. Then it goes to a Colossus search and hardpoint. Really good map out of Hook and Shotzzy. Again, the sub duo having their way on this one. Really close for the first rotation. Even the P1 was pretty close. About a 16-point lead for OpTic going into the set P2. But then OpTic's able to chain a P2, P3, P4. I would say, if anything, there was probably the P2 to P3. They're able to get about 80 points to 11 points. But even the other one, they're able to get about 110 points to about 30 points. So really good second rotation for OpTic, able to use that lead in the P1, P2. Carolina do make it interesting on the P2 a little bit, but it's too late at that point. OpTic was just running them down, playing a lot better, just ahead of them. They just needed 7 points on that third P3, and kind of just close it out. So really good out of OpTic, able to stay 8-0, able to win that one. Then our last matchup, Vancouver Surge versus the Paris GentleMates. I don't know how the fuck Paris GentleMates lost this. This team is compromised ever since losing to fucking C9. They're tied with Vancouver Surge. Vancouver, I guess, picking up Capsule was a good decision, but Paris GentleMates have to be compromised. There's no other fucking excuse for it. There's no other reasoning for it. They just look bad. I don't know what else to say. They don't look together. They look lost. Yeah. MVP of the series has to be Gwyn. Envoy with a .66. Don't know what he's doing on the map. Ghosty, Sib, and Neptune all putting out damage. 3k less damage for Envoy, though. Really bad map from him. But first 3 hills were somewhat close, but then Vancouver's able to basically full 60 a P4. Like 68 to 120. Like they almost full 60 it. They needed 6 seconds to full 60 it. So very bad out of my GentleMates. However, GentleMates able to have a good P5, P1 to bring it a little bit closer, about a 30-point lead going into that P2. Able to keep it close, P2, P3, P4, but really no progress made out of GentleMates either. They didn't make it closer, they didn't make it further. And then the P5, Vancouver's able to take that gap a little bit farther away, able to have a pretty good hole on the P5. And then after that P5, they need about 15 seconds. GentleMates kind of just prolonged the inevitable on the P1. They were able to kind of make it close, but Vancouver was just playing. They had a cruise actually from GentleMates, I believe, but really didn't connect on anything. Gwyn kind of baited the fuck out of the lock-on missiles, and he made it shoot, and then he went back into the market and was able to find their kills. Went to P2. GentleMates was first there, but they were able to break the P2 pretty convincingly on that third rotation, able to close out that map on that P2, but probably should be able to close it on that P1. Map 2, Vancouver's able to take again. Tej had a very good map in this map too. Ghosty had a pretty good map, but a lot of his kills were kind of pointless kills. Round 1. I am on this one, right? Yeah, okay. Round 1, good first blood from Sib, and GentleMates able to take that one. Envoy finds 3 after being down lives and GentleMates win round 2, so they go up 2-0. Sib finds 2 snipes onto Surge, but also Envoy in a collateral on the second snipe, so he snipes Gwyn. And then I forget who he sniped on the second one. It was either Tej or Spark, because I know he was left in a 1v1 situation against Capsidal. Capsidal was able to win that one, so it was 2-1. Other than that, it probably would have been 3-0 at this point, which is probably not good. Ghosty gets a 1v2, but it's too late in the round 4. Surge able to make it 2-2. Good trade out from GentleMates in the round 5, especially Neptune. He jumped off top mid, able to find those trades. Tej finds 2 in tunnel after being down lives. Then Gwyn snipes Sib to go up in lives, and then Gwyn and Tej find Envoy to go up 4-2, I believe. And then a good fast round from Surge mid in round 7 to go up 5-2. Good round from Surge, winning the round after Sib finds the first blood. GentleMates are able to win the round 8. Sorry, I just had a brain fart. After Sib finds the first blood, and then Tej cruises in the round 9. And he actually didn't find anything. Surge able to find 2 while the cruise is up. Surge clutch up the 2v4 and able to close out that map, go up 2-0. Then it goes to a overload on Scar. Good map from Ghosty and Sib. Not so great from Neptune and Envoy. Really back and forth. Some good goal line stops, attempts from both teams. Nothing for about the first 3 minutes. And then at 2 minutes, Surge are able to score. But then GentleMates make a good attempt, but nothing. And with 30 seconds left, Envoy just runs it in after Neptune and Ghosty find 2 kills each. Neptune is able to just kind of sneak past and score it on the tank hill, go 1-1. Good 3-piece from GentleMates, and then Sib gets pushed out 18, and they cap a second point. But then after a cruise from Lunar, Surge is able to cap their P2 device and make it 2-2. It goes into overtime. Neptune scams. Then Gwyn scams right back, makes it a 3v3. Envoy scams, makes it a 3v2. Then Sib and Ghosty instantly find 2 right after. They're actually able to train Envoy right after. I think Ghosty was able to find that one. And then Sib was able to find Capsule, I believe, in the top. And they're able to close out the 1v2 against Lunars to win that one in the overtime and make it go to a map 4. Thought maybe with that they were going to be able to close out the map 4, make it go into a map 5, and maybe reverse sweep them. But Lunars and Gwyn able to call game on the Den hardpoint. Sib again, the only one going positive. Ghosty actually having a terrible map in that last one. Do not know what's wrong with them. Surge, able to have a pretty hot start through the first rotation on the dead hard point, able to be up about 50 points after the first rotation. GentleMates able to have a good P1 on the second rotation, make it a 20-point game. Pretty close after the P2 as well, only about a 30-point game. But then the P3, P4, they're able to take it, and then it kind of just continues on that trend the whole rest of the way. It was 150 to 40 points for the rest of the hills after, I think, what was it, P1? That was really the last time that GentleMates really had any sort of hold on the map. Basically, after the first rotation, it was pretty close. But then the second rotation, 60-point game, almost a 70-point game, and then it goes to a P3, and GentleMates is able to get 20 points, and Vancouver is able to get 70 points. So not a good second rotation or third rotation for GentleMates. Again, I don't think they should split up, but I definitely think they have some things that they need to work through because they do not look very good right now. The major's coming up. You definitely don't want to be the bottom teams. There's some other teams that, like, yeah, I don't know if anyone knows if you guys know how the major works, but basically, if you're the 10 teams, you make it to the bracket. If you're not in the 10 teams, you don't make it or you don't even go to the LAN event. So if you're the 10 teams, you at least make it to the bracket. But if you're not in those 10 teams, you don't make it. But if you're in the bottom 4, so we're going to bring up the bracket here, or the standings here. So currently, the bottom 4 are FaZe, Vancouver, Ravens, and Paris GentleMates. You play a best of 5, but if you lose, you go home. So right now, GentleMates, Ravens, Vancouver, and FaZe are all going to play each other, and I think it would probably be 10 versus 7. So right now, GentleMates are going to play FaZe, and one of those teams is going to fly all the way to Birmingham and possibly not make it. FaZe, though, is barely above Boston. So there's a chance that FaZe doesn't make it. FaZe have 8 matches. That is the only thing for GentleMates, Ravens, and Surge. They only have played 7 matches, so they've played less matches than everyone else. But FaZe play Carolina, GentleMates, so that's a big series, and Cloud9. So FaZe definitely have 1 win. They're going to play Cloud9. If GentleMates figure it out, that's a tough one, and Carolina could be a tough one too. So FaZe could definitely lose out here and have some tough ones. GentleMates plays Boston, so they should hopefully be able to win that one next week. But they also play OpTic next week, so not great. Boston also plays G2 next week, so that's not great for them. GentleMates play FaZe, so that's not really great for them either. And then GentleMates plays LA Thieves, so GentleMates does not have an easy bracket the rest of the way. They really needed to win against Vancouver, and they really need to win against Boston because there's a chance that GentleMates don't make it to the bracket after they have Boston, FaZe, and Thieves left to play against, and then they have OpTic as well. So those are their last 4 matches, or those 4 teams. If they go 4-7, I think they probably should be able to make it. But it might be GentleMates being Major 1 winners and then not making the LAN event, or just not making the bracket play. But I think they'll figure it out. They're a very good team, but definitely not something to be super duper happy about. On the other hand, I believe OpTic, if they win 1 more match, is guaranteed first seed, which, not surprising. They've lost 5 games the whole split in 8 matches. So I think the max they've lost is 2 in a series. I think they went to best of 5 against like G2 maybe. Other than that, it's been pretty dominant at OpTic. Thieves, 2nd place. Falcons, 2nd place or 3rd place. Miami, 4th place. G2, 5th place. Toronto, 6th. Great comeback for Toronto after starting out so bad, which gives me hope for GentleMates. GentleMates is going to make a change though, but gives hope. And then Carolina, Vancouver, FaZe, Boston, Cloud9. Cloud9 is officially, I believe, out. I don't think they can make it. They play Toronto and Thieves next week, so that's probably going to put them at 1-8. And then they have 2 more matches. So the max they could get to is 3-8. And I don't, well, they got to hope for ball. They just have a lot of losses. That's the thing. They haven't really won any matches in some of their losses. So that's not really helping out their cause. All right, that's going to do it for my week 4 recap. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought of this weekend. What do you think of GentleMates? What do you think of OpTic? Who's your favorite team? How are they doing? All that sort of good stuff. If you enjoyed the recap, don't forget to drop a like, subscribe, and turn notifications so you may see my next videos. Until next time, I'll see you next one. Peace.